have my needle ready to go, and I have a little bit more than 5 feet of thread. It was like the last remnant of thread on my spool, so I just went ahead and I took it all off and threaded my needle. And this bracelet, it's not going to be like one of those where we do 2 or 3 passes. We're going to complete a unit, do our middle connecting unit, and go on to our next one. So by the time that we add the second part of our clasp, we will have a completed bracelet. So I do have a stop bead at the end of my thread. So, and it's a different color than what everything else I'm going to be using. And let me get my little, I'm going to use a magnetic clasp. This actually came in one of the boxes in one of PotomacBeads. It's the XL box, the extra large box. So this came, I'm not sure what month it was, but I saved it because I wanted to use it for something special. And I do think this project is special because it's really pretty. So I'm going to use this. And another reason why I love these boxes, because you get all these things that you can use later, you know? Okay, so ready to go. On goes 8 11-ohs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to go through one of my holes of my OvalDuo. And then I'm going to go through all 8 beads again. Excuse me this morning. I'm working on this on a Friday morning when I'm off. It's Good Friday. And mornings are pretty tough on me. I usually wake up with an allergy fit, so if I'm sniffling a little bit too much, I apologize. Okay, so I went through all my beads, and I'm going through my OvalDuo again. So that's going to bring my 8 beads like this. Okay, so now from here, I'm coming out of my hole here on the side of my OvalDuo, and I'm going to pick up 3 more 11-ohs, and this is going to look like a mess for a little while, but it's all going to come together really pretty. So I have, coming out of my OvalDuo hole, I'm picking up 3 11-ohs, and I'm going to hop on to the other hole of my OvalDuo. So that's going to bring those 3 little seed beads to the side, and I'm coming out on this side, and I'm going to pick up 3 more again. So this is going to cover the side of our OvalDuo. Now I'm coming out of this hole again, and I'm just going to go up these 3 little 11-ohs again, which I have no problem when I'm doing this. When I have my bead on it board and I have my project close to me, but when I'm recording, it's a little bit more difficult. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the 3rd one, and I'm going to go back through my OvalDuo. Now, the reason I keep doing that is because I like for my little 11-ohs to be anchored well to my OvalDuo. So now I'm coming out of here again, and I'm going to pick up 8 more 11-ohs. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm coming out of this hole of my OvalDuo. I'm going to come around and go through the other hole of my OvalDuo, which means I'll be circling around. I'm going to go in through the hole, and I'm going to be coming out of this hole, whoops, again. Now once I have all of my seed beads around my OvalDuo, I'm going to just go in, and you can go in up these or up down these, it doesn't matter, just go through all of your 11-ohs, connecting everybody together. So I came out, now I'm just going to go through every single 11-oh one time, you don't need to go through this more than once. And our next step, it's going to reinforce them even more. So for now, just go through all of them one time just to connect them together. And I have my finger on my crystal, so you probably can't see it, but that's all I'm doing. And of course, my crystals, my OvalDuos, I glued my crystals on them way ahead in advance. At least do it, you know, at least a couple of hours. No. At least like 3 hours. You just want to be sure that your crystal's on there really good. Okay, and I think I have everything. Give it a pull, and this is what you should have. Okay, so I connected all of my 11-Os together. So the next thing I want you to do, now on the top of these 11-Os, we're going to start adding our 15-Os, and we're going to end up with 24 15-Os on top. Now I need you to pick up, we're going to pick up groupings of 2 and only 2 groupings of 3. Now I like to start with a grouping of 3, do a few groupings of 2 till I'm like on the opposite side of that grouping of 3. Then I'll do my second grouping of 3 and finish off with groupings of 2. So if it sounded confusing, I'll show you. And when we connect them, we're going to pick up only 2 beads. We're going to connect them to every 2 beads of our 11-Os. Okay, so I'm coming out of an 11-O. I'm going to pick up 3 15-Os. Then I'm going to go through 2 11-Os. And then, if you can, go through, I put those 3 on top of 2 11-Os, and then I'm going to go through 2 more 11-Os. Now, you can go through the 2 at the same time as you're going through the 2 beads that you're connecting your 15-Os with. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. So, okay, so I'm pulling just to make sure that these are snug. So I have my 3 15-Os there. See? Okay. Now I'm coming out through 2 more 11-Os. I'm going to pick up 2 more 15-Os. I'm going to go back around those 2 15-Os I'm coming out of. And then go through them again. And then I'm going to pick up 2 more, the next 2 11-Os that are next to it. Pull snug. Now I'm going to pick up 2 more 15-Os. I'm going to circle around and go back through those same 2 11-Os that I'm coming out of. And I'm going to put those 2 more 15-Os on top. So this looks like a mess, doesn't it? Okay, just wait. It's going to look even messier. But it's all going to come together really, really nice. So now I'm going to go through my next 2 11-Os. My next 2 11-Os. I'm going to pick up 2 more 15-Os again, circling around, going through those same 2 11-Os, and then go through 2 more 11-Os. Yeah, 2. And then I'm going to pick up 2 more 15-Os again. And I'm going to pick up those 2 11-Os. And then I'm going to pick up an additional 2 11-Os. Okay, so I'm coming out of those 2 there. I'm going to pick up 2 more 15-Os. You know, I've already done a few groupings of 2, so I'm going to go ahead and do my second grouping of 3. That way I don't forget. So I'm just going to go through these 2. And since I'm at a curve, I wasn't able to pick up my next 2. I was only able to pick up 1. So I'm just going to go through 1 more. So I'm coming out of 2 again, and I'm going to pick up 2 more 15-0s. So if you have a mess, that's okay. This part isn't going to look neat, but it's so satisfying when you're pulling them together in the next step. So I already have this many. I just need to finish picking up 2 and going through 2, picking up 2. I'm just going to finish this step, and then I will meet you back and I'll pull everything together. So this is what you should have, and it looks really, really weird, but we're going to fix that. I've already added all of my groupings, and once I finish my last grouping, I circled around, and I'm just coming back through my last 2 15-0s that I added. So from here, we are going to go through all of our little 15-0s. Now that's all you're going to do. Just go through every single little 15-0, don't skip any. Go through every little single 15-0 that you added. And just pick them up. If you have to, push them to the front, and just go through all of them. And that's going to bring them all to the front and close them in all together. Very nice and snug. Just don't skip any. So I'm going through all of my 15-0s. And so yeah, you kind of have to go through a couple of funky steps to end up with something really pretty. So just keep going through everything. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just going through all of my 15-0s. I almost skipped one. Through all my 15-0s. And then go through all of them one more time if you want. And then kind of just push your 11-0s down so everything will stay in place. Whoops. And then when you pull your thread, pull toward your project, not this way or toward it. It's because we want everything to stay pretty. Okay, so that looks way better, doesn't it? So what I want to do now is just go one more time through all of my 15-0s. So go ahead and go one more time through all of your only your 15-0s. I went through all of my middle 15-0s one time. And once I did that, I just came out of one that's kind of like over one of the holes of the OvalDuo. And if you can't get one, well, I mean, you should be able to get one over the OvalDuo. Just hop on over to the hole of the OvalDuo. So again, coming out of one of your 15-0s that's right by the OvalDuo, go through it. And then when you come out on the other side, so you can tell by looking at your little seed beads in the back, the 8 that you put in here at the curve. I want you to go to the middle of those 8, which will be seed beads, which you will skip the first 3. You skip the first 3, and then go through 4 and 5. So your 4th and your 5th, your 4th and your 5th seed bead are what you want to be coming out of here at the curve. So your middle 2, okay? Now, and see, I already did this side, so now I'm going to do this side. I'm going to pick up 3 15-0s, my pearl, 3 15-0s, and I'm going to go through these 2. I'm coming out of these 2 middle beads. I'm going to go through those same 2 again. Only those two. Only these two, okay? Now I'm going to go down these 3 little 15-ohs. And this part's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to add my clasp. Well, hopefully I'll add my clasp. This is the second time I do this part in the video because the first time I added my wire guard, but I forgot to add my clasp. So coming out of these 3, I'm going to go back through my pearl. Then I'm going to go up these 3 15-ohs again. Now this time, I'm not going to go through these 2 here that are on my OvalDuo. I'm going to pick up an 11-oh, and then I'm going to skip those 2, and then I'm going to go directly to my 3 little 15-ohs on this side. Okay, just like that. And pull. Go, and then I'm going to go through my pearl again. So now this side matches this side. Now from here, I'm going to add my 3 little 15-ohs. And this is kind of heavy, so I just want to add 1 part of my clasp. And then I'm going to go through my wire guard. Now if you're not using a wire guard, this part will depend on what kind of a clasp you're going to use, if you use a wire guard or not. There's plenty of other videos that show you how to like end your bracelets. Okay, now I'm coming out of the other part of my wire guard. I'm going to put on 3 more 15-ohs. I probably just need to grab a few more. Okay, I've got 1, 2 more, and then I'm going to go back down my pearl, through my pearl. And again, if you're using a wire guard, don't forget to go through that other little opening of your wire guard. Okay, so I got my clasp on. Now what I'm going to do, let's see, this is what I have. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to reinforce this part 2 more times by going through my 3 little 15-ohs, my wire guard, down the other part of my wire guard, my 3 little 15-ohs, in through my pearl again. I'm going to do this 2 more times, but I'm going to do this off camera. Once I do that, I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to sew to this side of my little unit, and then we'll continue. Okay, I reinforced my clasp, and now I'm coming through, and I did add my little 11-oh here that I put in between my little sections of my 3 groupings of 15-ohs. And now I'm coming out of my pearl. I'm just going to sew back toward my unit by going through these 3 little 15-ohs. Then I'm going to go through these 2 11-ohs that are right here, these 2 middle ones. Then I'm going to go down these 3, and I'm actually meeting my tail there, and I'm going to take off my stop bead, and I'm going to tie a knot. Okay, just a quick knot. Then from here, I'm going to go through that little hole here because it's right there by my hole for my OvalDuo. And then now from here, I'm just going to sew. I won't through these 3, go through my hole, and then end up over here. You don't have to do it. You can just sew all the way outside through your 11-ohs, just whatever you want, whatever's easier for you. For me, it's just easier to cut through using the little holes of my OvalDuo, so that's what I'm gonna do. sew through these, go through the little hole here, and I will burn down my thread a little bit later. And then I'm back out here, and I'm going to sew up these 3 on this side, because I want to make my way to that little connecting unit. I'm going to go through these 2. Now down these 3 little 15-0s and into my purl and out of my purl. Now we're in place to do the other part of that little connecting unit. And we're going to do that by adding 3 15-0s, an 11-0, 3 more 15-0s, and going back through the purl. Okay, now go through your first 3 15-0s. Now add 2 11-0s. These 2 little 11-0s that I'm putting on now are going to be the ones that are part of your unit. So after you have your 2 little 11-0s coming out of these 3 15-0s, skip that 11-0 that you have there and kind of like force these 2 to the back and bring this one to the front. You can always fix that later too. And then go back down your purl. And then go up your 3 15-0s here and through those 2 11-0s that you just added right now. Those 2 little 11-0s that you just added. And I'm going to kind of like bring this one up to the front. Okay, so now you're in place to put your next oval duo. Okay, so I'm coming out of these 2 little 11-0s. And I'm coming out up, right? So we're going to grab our next oval duo. Since I already have these 2 here, these are going to be these 2 here are going to be part of my seed beads here on the curve. And we always put 8 there. So I'm coming out here to the top. I'm going to pick up 3 11-0s, being careful to make sure that your oval duo is sitting correctly with the crystal side up. Then I'm going to go through this hole and down my oval duo. Now I'm going to add 3 more 11-0s. Go back through these 2, and then down these 3 that you just added, into your oval duo. And now you're ready to add everything, your 3 little 11-0s that go on the sides, going through this hole, coming out of that hole, going through the other hole. Adding 3 more for the other side, coming out of this hole, going to the other hole. Then go down these 3. Go through your oval duo, and here, once again, you're going to pick up 8 11-0s. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming out of this hole, circle around, go back through the hole this way again. So now you have all of your 11-0s around your oval duo again. And now we're going to go through all of them one time. So I'm going to start here, going through all of them. Be sure not to skip any. Going down these on this side. And this almost done. And I'm going to go through the rest of them. Just need a few more. Now here, I am ready to start adding my 15-0s on top of my unit again. So go ahead and do that. Start adding your 15-0s on top of your unit the way you did for this one, by doing 2 groupings of 3, and the rest of them are going to be groupings of 2, always picking up 2 little 11-0s and going through them. So I'll do the first one. I'm going to do 3 15-0s. And I'm going to circle around, go through 2 11-0s, and go through my next 2. So I'm coming out of 2. That gets me ready to add 2 more, circling around, go through those 2, and go through 2 more. Just like that. Okay, so finish doing this step, adding all of your groupings of 15-0s on top, and then going through all of your 15-0s, connecting them by going through them twice. Okay, so this is my finished piece, and I did stay with 6 units after all. Now it was a little short on me, so what I did, but I figured that if I did another one, it would be too big, and since it has crystals, I didn't really want it hanging a lot. So what I did was, on this end, on the other part of my clasp, after I added my wire guard, I added two jump rings, and then the other part of my clasp to one of the jump rings. And then, because I was kind of annoyed that I added 2 jump rings to this part of to this clasp and no jump rings on this one, I went ahead and I made a few these little dangles, and I just used crystals and the same color crystal, little rondelles in pink, and some more pearls. So that way when it hangs off my wrist, it doesn't really annoy me as much. So this is how it looks on, and it's really cute. And here's my little dangle there, and my lovely magnetic clasp. Okay, so now this one, I did not do connecting units with pearls. I used crystals, and I used, instead of a metallic 15-0 here, I used an opaque color, and it looks really pretty. I like how the opaque looks also. So this one was the first one I did, and I was still trying to get the count right on my seed beads, so some of them are kind of eh. And then I used a 3x4 rondelle to connect them, and I like how this looks with the 3x4 rondelle. But you can connect them with whatever kind of bead that you want. You don't have to do the pearl like I did. Now, Fireline I recommend for this, and also on the part if you do it this way with a pearl, and on the part where you add your 3 15-0s, your pearl, your 3 15-0s, and then where you add your 2 little 11-0s that are part of your unit, I didn't say to reinforce it, but you do have to reinforce it. So after you add your 2 little 11-0s that go here, when you're adding your middle unit to get ready to do your next one, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you're doing the project, go over it again, reinforce it again. So if I tell you not to reinforce something, but it feels loose to you, just go ahead and reinforce it. Sometimes I forget, especially since I do a project and then I don't always do the tutorial right after, so I kind of forget sometimes. So, but when you're doing something and I miss telling you, you know, to reinforce it, but it feels loose, reinforce it. Usually it's going to work out just fine. And so this is what we have. And this is our Reflecting Pool Bracelet. I hope you enjoyed this, doing this, and thank you very much for watching.